Liverpool is going to come back. Manchester United, they're getting better. And you think, well, Chelsea could not possibly be as bad next season. No, of course not. And you start thinking about the possibilities for Arsenal. And while they may say, and Stevie, I think, is correct in saying, yeah, you push on from here. Yeah, you push on from here, but the other ones are going to push on as well. And I think it's critical for Arsenal when they evaluate their season to know that the title was right there. Not to turn your back on it and say it was a good season, we would have taken second at the beginning. No. You played so well that you put yourself in a position where if you're beating teams that you should be beating, Southampton, West Ham, so on and so forth, it doesn't matter if you lose to Manchester City because you still would have been ahead. But you didn't do that job. And that, I think, you have to evaluate it. You have to make sure that you acknowledge it, that you understand it hurts, and that you internalize that, how much that hurt, so that when you're pushing on for a reason. You're pushing on because you don't want to feel like that. If you're ever in that sort of position again, that you come up with the performance that are necessary. So it's how you look at it. You can look at it glass half full and say, hey, this was a great season. I myself, I know you're surprised, I would go glass half empty. It's what might have been. It's what could have been. It's what should have been. We had it in front of us, and we did not come up with the performance when we needed them so that we could continue to put pressure on Manchester City. See, when Manchester City are flying and you're dropping points, guess what happens? Manchester City continue to fly. They're not going to take a step back. They're not going to come back to you. You gave Manchester City life because of your lack of performance against teams that you should be beating, and from then on, the better team took off. And there's no doubt, if you ever needed any sort of doubt, just watch Manchester City play today. Without being great, for the first 30 minutes they were under some pressure, under some difficulty, and then quality took a step up. And Gundogan scores a great goal, and Haaland scores a goal. It's 2-0. See you guys later. Thanks for coming. We did not see enough of that from Arsenal towards the end of the season.
That's a lot on Arsenal. As Ali mentioned, Gundogan stole the show at Goodison Park. How much do you love him, Naden?
Oh, Dan Thomas. What a guy, the captain of the football club. What a player. I think it's going to be a big shame if he leaves this summer. And he seems to step up at these moments, especially towards the end of the season. I think it was 2 goals last week. He's got another 2 this week. Absolutely incredible player. So consistent for the club, especially when they need him the most. And that finish today, that first one, absolutely amazing. I can't remember a time when I've seen something like that. And it's where they firstly had time to sort of thigh it down in the box, but the finish itself is so sharp. There's no way Pickford even expects him to get a shot off. But what a big goal, what a big moment. And he's that guy, like, for as much as some City fans talk about the leaders in the team, talking about Ruben Diaz and alike, those players chose Ilkay Gundogan as the captain of the football club. And I think that says how important he is to those guys, to the staff. Like I say, it'll be a big blow if he leaves, but he keeps stepping up in these big moments. I won't be surprised if he manages to do some more between now and the end of the season.
To that point, Jules, why have they let him leave?
It's a good question. I mean, it's not that they let him leave. They've tried to keep him. They're still trying now to keep him. I think Pep would give anything he has to keep him because he knows, like Nedum just said, how important he is for the team. There's a reason why he wears the armband. There's a reason why at 32 he's maybe in the best form of his career. I think this is the kind of players, because the football IQ is so high, the football maturity, everything, he will get better and better with age. And I think he's such a key part of this amazing City puzzle, really, and this team, that losing him and trying to replace him will be almost impossible. So they're trying everything to keep him. They tried before. They just didn't find an agreement. I don't think that Ilkay wants to stay. Otherwise, I'm sure they would have found an agreement. Maybe he just wants, after 5 years now in a City where he won everything, apart from the Champions League, that could be this season, that he feels he wants to see something different, maybe go to Spain, different country, different league, etc. He's 32, so this is his last chance, really, to do that. It's not going to happen if he signs an extension at City. So if that's what he wants, you can't really blame him for it. And for everything that he's given City all those years, I think it's right to let him go in a way, but I think it would be a real, real shame.
Coach's dream, yes, Stevie? Do you have someone like that?
He's one of those guys that when the team's given out, if he's not playing, you're asking, why is he not playing? He's the guy you want beside you in every situation. And as much as we talk about De Bruyne's and Haaland's and guys who are supposed to be important, whenever City have been in any sort of trouble, This is the guy that's stuck his head above the parapet and said, don't worry, I've got this. He did it last year. He scored an incredible amount of goals in a short space of time when City were having a little period. And again, this year, he's come good when it matters most. We talk about this is the most important part of the season. Well, yes, De Bruyne is stepping up, Haaland's stepping up. But guess what? There's a guy called Gundogan who's just as important and who's stepping up big time as well.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.